Hello there, I'm Chris Stashew.
I'm Mike White.
And this is Father Malone.
And we are the hosts of Dreams for Sale, a podcast where we talk about the Twilight Zone 1985 and sometimes the other shows, but mostly 1985. On this episode, we are going to be talking about the first 2 episodes of the 3rd season of the show. We are here quickly. The 2nd season was half as long as every other season of the show, so we are here quicker than we would be otherwise. But we are going to be talking about 2 episodes of the show at once because now they don't do segments anymore. They only do 20-minute episodes. They changed it up on us. I don't know why, realistically, they changed it in the 2nd season to something else, and then they didn't unchange it, and then they changed it again.
Yeah, I think, Father Malone, weren't you saying that it was to get to 100 episodes so they could syndicate faster?
Exactly. I think they thought, let's split the hour up into half-hour segments, and that will get us to syndication faster. And then when they realized that, like halfway through this season, they were just going to sort of cut it off and shuffle everything to the next season, they ended up putting a couple of episodes together just to get rid of them, just to burn them off before the next season began. So that's why it kind of went to half hour, then to hour, then half hour, and now we're back to half hour.
And we will stay at half hour through the end of the show. So there you go. So yeah, from here on out, it is going to be 2 episodes of the show on every episode of our show because they're only 20 minutes long. So there you go. So on this episode, we're going to be looking at The Curious Case of Edgar Witherspoon and Extra Innings.
One old man in a private world of irrational urgencies. For Dr. Jeremy St. Clair, an all too common sight. But Edgar Witherspoon is a most uncommon old man with a secret that reaches out to the 4 corners of the earth, as the good doctor is about to discover.
So The Curious Case of Edgar Witherspoon, Jay Giles Band, Edgar Winter Band. I don't know what they're going for here. I just kept saying the Edgar Winter Band. The Curious Case of Edgar Witherspoon is directed by René Bonnière. It is written once again by J. Michael Straczynski and Haskell Barkin. It stars Harry Morgan as Edgar Witherspoon and Cedric Smith as the doctor called upon to take care of a crazy old man.
Welcome to Canada, y'all.
Yeah.
It's a bottle episode inside of a shitty set filled with things.
Yeah, I think this is a gentle one. I think I wasn't offended by it at all. I do want to mention one thing that as bad as any of the American ones were, I never saw the crew in the door, the glass door, which is the first thing I noticed in this one. I was like, oh, wait, we're in Canada now, right? Aren't we? And then like he closes that door and there's the crew. I'm like, oh, boy, are we in Canada?
Yeah, I was so happy to see Harry Morgan. I was just like, whatever. Just do whatever you want. Just give me Harry Morgan. I'm fine with this. It reminded me of something else, and I can't really put my finger on it, but this whole idea of like, well, I guess it's very much like the butterfly effect, and not the shitty Ashton Kutcher film. I'm talking about the actual effect as far as like, if I don't put this baby head in this particular place, then a tornado is going to come and wipe out Kansas City. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And yeah, it's crazy and he hears voices, but it kind of worked for me. I kind of enjoyed this one.
I agree 100%. Harry Morgan's great.
I didn't mind Cedric Smith. I felt the frustration of the daughter and the landlady and all these other people. They're just like, this guy's got a whole bunch of junk in his apartment. I'm like, okay, early hoarder.
Yeah. You're right. And I did like this concept. I like this Rube Goldberg machine that's keeping the world together and someone tasked with doing that and, trying to find his replacement, which is kind of what the whole episode ends up being, which is very Twilight Zone-y.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, look, it didn't reinvent the wheel, but it wasn't God, I can't even think of the name of the episode. The last one. So bad. The Girl I Married. Yeah, man. It's leagues and bounds above that. Look, J. Michael Straczynski is a good writer, and he's always come up with interesting concepts. He went on to do that show Babylon 5, which I think is kind of wildly underrated as far as televised science fiction goes. So, I like this episode quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's fun. I don't think it like y'all have echoed, I don't think it reinvents the wheel. It does have a nice little twist. I mean, you could probably see the twist coming from 10 miles away up in space, but
it's inelegantly shot. I mean, it's not well directed. Like, this all feels like not necessarily sets, but it's lit like television. Whereas I think in previous seasons they were trying to go for like at least a movie like quality in most of the episodes. So that's my only real criticism of this particular episode, is that it just felt like it's a TV show, folks.
It feels like they're filming in Toronto, which they are.
Right.
I feel like I could see James Woods walking by on the set of Videodrome in the background. I mean, again, it's when I think of Toronto, I think of David Cronenberg filming a lot in Toronto, and this has that kind of grungy, dirty, cheap, I guess, look to it. So
yeah,
there's not much to it. There's really not. Like,
yeah, I don't have much good to say or bad to say about it.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, my experience with this one has been positive. So, thumbs up, I guess. But it's not going to stay with me.
No.
I do like
it ain't no wordplay, baby.
No, I do like the idea that there's just some dude who's keeping the world together with like all this shit in his house, though.
It's a fun concept.
And of course, nobody believes him. That's like always, this whole thing is predicated on the lack of belief. And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. Big time. Oof. But, it's fun enough. It's not offensively stupid like the last one. I think we would like this less if we hadn't seen such duds in the last episode.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's, we're always comparing one to another. Like we did that over on Chronicles of Crypt as well. It's like, this one sucked because the last one was so good.
Right.
I do agree that having watched The Girl I Married and then this one, I was like, oh, well, this is a breath of fresh air. I don't know that I would have rated it worse having seen that one. It's just kind of there. It's, the concept is solid. I love the idea of this guy, like, putting you got a business card on you? Like the idea of him running around asking for bizarre things. Like it's interesting, but not so well constructed, I guess.
Yeah. We want to move on? Is that all we got to say on this? Yeah. Oh, shit. All right. Yeah. So let's talk about the next episode, Extra Innings.
For two with a walk. Rivera, a switch hitter.
It's been said that the body is the means through which an athlete can best reveal the dynamic potential of the human spirit. But what happens when the means to that expression is injured beyond repair? Meet Ed Hamner, a once prominent player in the big leagues, a man who's never resolved himself to his fate as a non-participant, but who will soon be forced to bat in the Twilight Zone.
So Extra Innings is directed by Douglas Jackson, written by Tom Palmer. It stars Marc Singer as Ed Hamner, a baseball player who has been injured, who wants to play baseball. A children's game that people don't make millions of dollars playing. Look, I mean, I'm glad that an episode like this gives us the most, like, vile, venal wife in television Twilight Zone that we've seen in a long time.
Oof, boy, oh boy.
Oh, you like that?
I like how unrealistic she is.
Oh, okay.
She does not exist on a plane of reality that is humanity. Let's just put it that way. I wrote about
3 notes for this episode, and one of them is this has one of my least favorite tropes, which is the nagging shrewish wife, who's just there to drive our hero to his destination.
Baseball is a children's game, sir. Children's game.
Hey, I actually don't disagree with her sentiment, but
people can still get paid millions of dollars to do childish things.
They absolutely can, but if you've been sidelined and you're sitting on the couch and she's paying all the bills.
Yeah.
I think
his obsessive nature, I'm just like, dude, get a fucking grip, would you?
Yeah, like go work at a fucking like a sports memorabilia shop. For Christ's sake. Like
just
do that.
Be careful of O.J. Simpson. Don't let him rob you.
I think the concept for this episode makes no sense on the face of it because he's an injured baseball player who has no money, with an indiscriminate injury that he got while playing baseball, which means the team would have cut you, I guess. It's been 2 years since he got injured. But he got injured in such a way that he is forever unable to play baseball.
Right.
Which I think we all need to point out here. Baseball is not the kind of sport where you get injured permanently unless you're a pitcher or you get hit in the face with a baseball.
Well, or something happens to your leg.
Right.
Which is what happened. Maybe he slid into home too hard.
And his leg
Ankle hippolytis.
Fractured like bird bones. It's just, it was unrealistic to me because the entire conceit is this man is so injured he can't do anything. Okay, sure. But then he takes a baseball to the face later in the episode. Like, what?
Hey, remember when Marc Singer fought a bunch of lizard people on television every week, Mike?
Yeah, I sure
Wasn't that great? So much better than this.
I remember when he traveled through time even.
Yes.
I kept waiting for that to happen. I was just like,
Kodo and Podo, where are you?
Yes, exactly.
Hey, Father Malone, I'd like to point out to you, I have seen V. I'm not that young, sir.
Did you watch it weekly?
No, because I wasn't allowed.
And we're hanging on every plot twist?
No. Fair, but I've still
there,
seen
fetus.
It. Fetus. He called me a fetus. Well, he's not wrong.
Hey, they were Tigers fans, right? In this episode?
Yeah, that was interesting. When they broke out the Tigers, I was like, oh, okay. All right. I didn't mind this episode. It was kind of like the one that we talked about last time. That I made mention of, the whole piano episode.
It's like identical to it in a way.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, especially like, okay, how's he in that one? It was, how is he going to get to stay there? And in this one is, how is he going to get to stay there?
Mike.
Yeah.
At least in the other one, though, which is a superior episode in every way.
Yes, 100%.
And I just kept thinking about it the entire time and thinking, like, this is a poor imitation of it. Like, at least in that one, he had to figure out a way to stay there. This one was about this guy who has no possible way of continuing his career in our world. He has the worst wife in history. Sure, that kid likes him, but come on, here's a chance to actually stay forever. Where is there even a question?
Right. And it was very convenient for him to go back to this other time and suddenly be in uniform. And then even the girl that he brings back, she's in period appropriate dress. I was like, okay, I'm surprised that, they didn't have her go back and they're just like, well, young man.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I was talking about when it comes to these, the sort of writers later in this series where, they have the idea and they want to kind of explore it, but they're not steeped in speculative fiction. So the twist is enough in their mind, not necessarily like a Twilight Zone twist, but as far as the MacGuffin to get the plot in motion, they're just like, and then, because, fantasy stuff, right? Like,
right.
That's what you guys like. It's like, at one point, Superman was able to do everything that they would just go like, well, because he's Superman. Like, yeah, now he can run through time and do all that, during the 50s and 60s, as far as the writers. That's what this feels like to me. This is not an episode. There's not much to dislike other than the fact that it's called the Twilight Zone. And we've seen some greatness recently, or not recently, but definitely in the past on this show. And I don't know. Marc Singer was good. That's the positive thing I'll say.
Marc Singer plays a very convincing and believable man who's down on his luck.
Oh, yeah.
And he hangs out with a 14-year-old.
Has anybody checked in with him lately?
What's Marc Singer up to these days?
Yeah.
I wonder. There's got to be a convention signing somewhere.
Well, with COVID, I mean, these guys can't go to the conventions. They must
Cameo, baby.
Oh, there you go. He's just like, call up the Beastmaster. Here I am.
$25. How much do you think Marc Singer would go for on Cameo?
Oh, he's got to be at least 35.
35. Boy.
I'll say 15 if he's on there.
Yeah, he might be. I don't know. My wife yesterday was like, hey, check out JoJo Siwa's on Cameo. And I was like, how much is she? $500.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck, dude. Just to be like, hey, happy birthday. What's their name again? Barbara. Happy birthday.
Apparently he was in a Beauty and the Beast TV series, not the one with Ron Perlman, but a Beauty and the Beast. He was in Arrow, which I don't watch. And he was in the rebooted V. And apparently he's supposed to be in one coming out in 2021, probably in theaters only, called The Undertaker's Wife.
Oh, definitely
Looks like
in theaters
a horror
only.
film.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be a true film fan, you have to go watch movies in the theater.
Yeah. Why not risk your life for that?
Well, at the end of the day, I'd rather watch Arrow on my TV than go to the movie.
I went to the movies last night.
Really? What'd you see?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, no. Oh, get out of here. I love that movie. Anyway,
good for you.
The only reason I bring it up is
you're
that
outnumbered on this one, bro.
No. That's fine. You both could be wrong. But
we're not.
What I wanted to point out,
far from wrong, sir.
We were one of two couples in the theater, so I felt pretty secure.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because now
when Scott Pilgrim, which makes me less secure. Who else would go see Scott Pilgrim in theaters? That movie's terrible.
I disagree.
On what grounds?
On as far as a bizarro movie that it kind of exists in its own universe, I like the movie more once I realized that Scott Pilgrim is actually the villain of the piece. But I don't know. I think that movie's got style to burn, and I love the soundtrack. And I love the whole cast. So, and I love the concept of having to battle your significant other's exes. I think it's really solid.
I'd like to watch it again with that idea of him being the villain, because he truly is. He's such a piece of shit. Yeah.
I would like to watch that movie without Michael Cera in it.
I don't mind Michael Cera as an actor, especially, what was that, The End? Or This is the End?
This is the end.
Dies immediately.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
His best role is the one where he's in for 3 minutes.
Yes. But, that, and speaking of Toronto, that movie is just such a love letter to Toronto.
It sure is. That is, look, I love Edgar Wright, as I'm sure the three of us do, but that is the one movie of Edgar Wright's where the first time I saw it, I liked it. Every other time since I've been, meh, that's okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I don't really like Hot Fuzz or World's End. Like, those movies do nothing for me. But
you like Shaun of the Dead?
Well, yeah, I love Shaun of the Dead.
Huh.
Yeah. I love Hot Fuzz, but I do not like World's End, and I'm not a big fan of Baby Driver either.
Oh, I like Baby Driver then.
I liked what he was doing with some of the music in Baby Driver, but it's just like, I don't know. I was just like kind of done with it after about half an hour.
It kind of falls apart, but
to be fair, Mike, on my suggestion, I would say you should rewatch World's End. I think
that's good. Right. You and I were talking about that. Yep.
Yeah. Most of the time you saw it, Father Malone.
It is not good. I actually saw it about a year ago.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
And it was I need to reevaluate this because maybe I was in a mood or whatever like that. And I like a lot of it, but I don't think it hangs together ultimately.
I get it. Yeah. I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but subsequent watchings, I enjoy it a lot more. Kind of the reverse with Shaun of the Dead. I liked Shaun of the Dead for a long time, and then it's okay. It's not the strongest. Hot Fuzz is the strongest, without a doubt.
I
have much doubt there.
I quote both of those movies, Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, all the time. We're constantly, especially saying, sorry, Sean, very often.
No luck catching them killers, eh? It's just the one killer, actually. God. But, coming back to Twilight Zone.
Must we?
What is this show's obsession with telling these kinds of stories? This version of the show. Because I don't think this is number 2. Isn't this number 3 now? Wasn't there one other episode that was in this kind of fantasy fulfillment vein? I think there was, right? In the first
wasn't
season?
Wasn't there a Peter Riegert episode where he goes and visits himself in his youth?
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
That was the Harlan Ellison one. Yeah. I don't know. Every writer's got this, I want to go back to the past and live in a golden age kind of thing. Unfortunately, they kept greenlighting
poverty.
Yeah, that was it. Good Lord.
Written by our good friend, Alan Brennert.
Yeah.
By the way,
King of the Schmaltz.
I don't see Marc Singer on Cameo, but I do see Mark McGrath. So if you want Mark McGrath.
But could we just ask Mark McGrath to clarify if it's Sugar Ray or Sugar Gay?
Oh my God.
Have you guys ever seen that?
I saw that video, yeah.
I never saw
on
that.
and on.
There's this guy heckling Mark McGrath outside of a club, calling him Sugar Gay over and over again. And Mark McGrath gets
I think he just says it once, actually.
Well, but
he says it once, and then Mark McGrath, who said that?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's like, say it in my fucking face. Say it to me. Say it to my face. Oh, Jesus, dude. Sugar gay, bro. Sugar gay.
Yeah, that's a long video, too. He excoriates that kid for a while.
And it's it's a straight up teenager who just was fucking with Mark McGrath. All right.
As you do.
But yeah, we should just be like, hey, Mark McGrath, could you say Sugar Gay? Do you know Marc Singer? Do you know Marc Singer's number?
Can you go on Cameo and get somebody to like surreptitiously like be interviewed, for your podcast? Like, send them like a list of questions. Like, here's my Cameo I want.
Right.
That's a good question. Would they do that? They'd probably be like, no, you have to pay me more. And be like, I'm not going to pay you, Kevin from The Office.
I just paid you $90, Mark McGrath.
Say the funny thing. Shut the fuck up and just send me my video. Cameo blows my mind, though. Like, the fact that anyone is willing to pay, like, Mick Foley $300 to wish their friend a happy birthday is ingeniously idiotic at the heart of it.
Oh, yeah.
Marc Singer should get into it.
Yeah.
He should.
Well,
he should. He'd make $15.
Yeah.
We should get into it. We should just post ourselves on Cameo.
Yeah.
Someone would take one of us up on the offer, and the person that would take the up on the offer is Mike White, not us. Hi, I'm here from my movie basement. This is me, Mike White, wishing you a happy birthday. Who you are, I do not know, but you, have a happy birthday. You, all of you. Which one of you? Have a happy birthday.
This is making me really want to finally sit down and watch A Man Called Sarge, because that's like the one parody movie from the 90s that I haven't seen, and I really just need to sit down and watch it.
And Marc Singer's in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Gary Kroger.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
SNL luminary.
Yes.
His name is Needleman. He's an oral surgeon.
Don't worry, Lois. I'll protect you.
He was on the show for 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
SNL? Yeah.
Can we hope that this season's going to be better than last one? Or is that hope going to be misguided, you think?
We can hope.
Yeah, I'm hoping as well.
Do not want to hope. It is forbidden in these lands.
You have crossed over into a land of sight and sound and terrible episodes. That is season 3 of The Twilight Zone.
We'll see. I mean, they've got some good guest stars in this season. I see like Eddie Albert, Louise Fletcher, Peter Scolari, who, I think we all agree that he should have been the one that got famous, not Tom Hanks,
Totally. He was carrying that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever anyone says Scolari, all I can think is the Scolari brothers. Tried him for murder, gave him the chair.
There you go. They came back, though.
They did. Look, I think with this show, like Chronicles from the Crypt, when we talk about Twilight Zone, people do remember these shows a lot more fondly than they actually exist.
Oh, yeah.
Because the good episodes are that good. Like Shatterday, Wordplay, a lot of the good episodes are that good. But man, everybody conveniently forgets about a lot of the really bad stuff. But you can't exist one without the other. You just can't.
I mean,
we've said this before. Like, you go back and watch the original Twilight Zone, it's rife with terrible episodes.
Oh, yeah.
But they were, putting out like 40 episodes a season or something. So they at least have that excuse of just overexertion. Here, that we've got, 10, 12, 13 episodes the last season, maybe a 20 something here. Like, come on. And, I was just looking ahead at some of the episodes coming up. It would seem, I remember quite a few of them, but just as many I don't. But it does seem like it's going to be more of this. It's going to be less about shocking you or scaring you or making you think, and more about, what if you wished for this and this came true? Like, come on, man. I don't have time for schmaltz in my life.
Better make some time.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some more schmaltz next month.
It's true.
Hitched my wagon to the schmaltz train.
Woo woo.
So speaking of the next episode, on the next episode of Dreams for Sale, we're going to be taking a look at The Crossing and The Hunters. Both directed by Paul Lynch. Sure, we'll see. Could be good, could be bad. Probably bad. Maybe not. Who knows? Until then, Father Malone, where can people find you?
You can find me over at fathermalone.com. I got links to all the stuff I do there, but you will find my podcast, Dark Destinations, which is a half-hour radio drama I put out almost monthly.
What about you, Mike White?
As always, you can find me over at the Projection Booth Podcast, which is available at projectionboothpodcast.com.
And you can find me on Twitter at Christmas Claus and on the internet at cstatue.com. That's where you can find me. You can find this podcast on the internet at Twilight Zone 85 and at, Twilight Zone
Somewhere.
85. Yeah. You can find us
You can find it in the Twilight Zone.
Exactly. And as always, big thanks to Roxy Drive and Neutron Dreams for the awesome music for this podcast. You can find them on the internet. Can you find them? Do we know?
I'm sure you can.
Sure, but who knows?
Google.
Find whatever you want.
It's, boy, can't you?
Yeah, just go to that dark web. Oof.
Yeah, boy. And as always, make sure to join us on the next episode.